share with you guys. First, I just want to thank you for the prayers that you have given our family. That is the greatest gift that you guys have given us, and Justin and I really appreciate that. And even though he's not up here with me right now, he helped me put this together. It's the teacher in us, I guess. But I wanted to talk about how God's prepared us for this moment, for this time, and how we've been blessed by obedience. And the first thing that happened was I was sitting right over there, right behind where Justin is, second row back, and God had called me to be part of the choir. And this was over a year ago. And I was scared of that commitment because it's a big commitment. You're here a lot of hours practicing and all of that, but I knew I actually had like this vision of me being up here and singing, and I love to sing. It's been my passion for so many years, and I really thought I would never be singing again, and I am, and I'm really blessed by that. But because of that decision to go ahead and, well, part of my fear was just how amazing the girls are that I get to sing with. They bless me with their abilities. But in spite of all that fear, I decided to go ahead and join the choir. And because of that, you kind of get scheduled to come to church. So I started coming to Wednesday nights, and I know the handful of you that come on Wednesday nights were really, really blessed by the Old Testament and everything Tom's been teaching us. And so I was coming on Wednesday nights, and Tom started going through Genesis. Now, I've read Genesis a whole bunch of times. I grew up in the church and all of that, but I have to tell you, I come from a science background. In college, I majored in biology and geology with an emphasis in paleoecology. I worked for an evolutionary biologist. So I had a lot of questions and a lot of struggles trying to pull my science background into what I knew about Genesis. And I've had several conversations with Pastor Tom and Denise trying to pull that stuff together, and they just looked at me and smiled. They didn't try to argue with me. But when we started studying Genesis, after my new commitment to serve, all of a sudden I felt like my eyes were open to what the Bible was really saying, and I was really able to put aside all of that deception, really, that science can bring to you. And Tom said, eventually science will catch up with the Bible, and I love that. It stuck with me, and so we started going through Genesis, and now I can't imagine not coming on a Wednesday night and hearing God's word, especially the Old Testament. I mean, I just never knew how deep that it goes, and it's so deep. So I want to encourage you guys. I know it's hard to get out on a Wednesday night in the middle of the week. You know, you have kids, you have sports, you have all of that stuff, but I really want to encourage you to come out and hear what we're doing on Wednesday nights. Through all of this, my commitment to the choir, to being here on Wednesday nights, my husband, Justin, was watching, and several times I had prayed with Tom and Valerie about him being here, and I really wanted him to be the leader of our home as far as our Christian walk went. And I used to bring the kids to church by myself, and I remember when Justin started coming, the kids were like, Dad's going to church? As you guys know, that being a part of the choir, actually my kids joined the choir, and Justin joined the choir, and we were all sitting up here together, and that was a huge blessing for us. And it went from, random music being played in our house to worship songs all the time, because you have to practice. And I'm going to embarrass my oldest child here, but he takes a shower in our shower, and the door's closed, but he doesn't realize I can hear him singing. And he sings praise song after praise song after praise song. And it's because of that first step in obedience of joining that choir. And it wasn't too long after Justin's new commitment. He actually stepped like 3 steps from where he is now to talk to Pastor Tom and said, I need to step it up. And he asked Tom for mentoring, and he got really committed to going into the Word every morning and all of that. But, last Thanksgiving Eve, he was up giving his testimony. I don't know if you guys remember that, which was huge. It was a huge moment for him and for us. Through all of this as well, over the last year, our marriage has been very, very blessed. We've been married for over 12 years now, and all marriages go through ups and downs, and we were in some downs, and God's really pulled us together through this. I remember when we first got married, the pastor said at the end, he said, sometimes your marriage will hold your love together, and sometimes your love will hold your marriage together. And there was a time where our marriage was holding our love together, and our commitment that we made, in front of the church and God. But our marriage has been blessed through that first step of obedience. Another thing that we started doing this last year was tithing. And we weren't tithing before. I mean, we were giving to other places, but we weren't tithing to the church. And our thought process was that, okay, we can look at all of our expenses and see what's left, and then we'll know how much we can tithe. One Wednesday night, again, back to Wednesday nights, we were reading through the book of Malachi, which our New Yorker pastor likes to call Malachi. And this was the verse that he said. It's Malachi 3:10 says, "Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. And try me now in this, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out you such blessing, and that there will not be enough room to receive it." And it was basically what I realized at that moment was God. It was almost like a dare. Like, I dare you to do this, and let me show you the blessings that are going to be poured out on you. And we've had so many blessings, and it's not necessarily monetary, but some of that too. Just everything that I've told you about, everything has been such a blessing in our lives. So what we've started doing now is we write our tithe check first. And actually, when I started doing this, I didn't tell Justin that I was doing that, which for you married folks, I don't necessarily recommend. But after 3 months of doing this, I told him what I had been doing, and he high-fived me. So I knew it was on his heart as well. And so once he saw how the blessings were going to come, we actually have increased our tithing, and that's a huge blessing. So God has blessed us with so many different things, and we are blessed and happy givers. Many of you guys know that in the last weeks, Justin has been diagnosed with a brain tumor. And although a diagnosis like this never comes at a good time, there's no doubt in my mind that God has spent the last year and a half preparing our family for this moment. Even little things like new insurance. I have a flexible job that I'm able to make phone calls and to insurance companies and doctor's offices and all of that. And we have a huge friend base here. I get overwhelmed with how many of you have offered so many different things to us. And part of that saying yes to my first commitment to joining this choir was the fact that I really feel like I've learned to know, or I've come to know all of you in a much more, like a deeper way. And we have these strong friends and family support. We've been blessed. I got promoted in my personal business that I do on the side, which has helped us with financially paying for alternative medicine visits and supplements and buying organic food and all of that stuff. And isn't it funny that when all this started happening, Tom started in James 1. For the last 7 weeks, we've been in James 1. And we are learning to count it all joy. I have a huge social network, and I know this sounds silly, but on Facebook I have a huge social network that's been building over the last year and a half. And when I post something about Justin and prayers being needed, you guys, your comments, and there's prayers all over the country and even in different parts of the world going up for Justin and my family. And that means so much to us. And I know that you guys have been really lifting us up in prayer. And again, that's just a huge gift. And for that, we really thank you. And I have to say that our faith and our marriage have all been strengthened by choosing to be obedient. And if we had not been obedient, we would not be prepared for this moment. This just came to me. One of the things that's happening is that our Sunday school teachers, we don't have enough Sunday school teachers, and there might be some of you out there that you can feel it. You're supposed to do it. You're the one that's supposed to be stepping up, but because of this, that, or the other, time commitments and all of that, that was me and the choir. And I just want you to know, if God is calling you to that, then you're going to be blessed by that, and there's going to be a lot of other people blessed by that. So, whatever that's worth. If we had to go through this trial before our obedience to these things, I believe that we would not have been prepared. And I know that before, Justin and I would have been very scared right now. But we are beyond confident that God is taking care of Justin by his will and his way, and that he will be glorified through all of this.